Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in for our Srila Prabhupada study session. Let's start with a quick bhajan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijanna Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashoda Nandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Shri Radhe. Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me Jai. Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Samved Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinadharinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for our Srila Prabhupada book study. We are on chapter number 4 of this book, The Path of Perfection. The topic is moderation in yoga. Right? Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmashu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkaha. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita how we need to regulate our eating habits, our sleeping habits, our recreation habits, and our work habits. If we regulate all of them, then yogo bhavati dukkha. Then we will be able to avoid all the miseries that arise out of overeating or oversleeping or overindulging and recreation, etc. right? And then Srila Prabhupada also talks about how yoga means connection. You have to establish our connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is the method that is prescribed in this age of Kali. And we also spoke about sanctioned food, sanctified food, and regulated food, right? What is sanctioned for us? Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. That means a flower, a fruit, water, etc. prescribed for us. But what is sanctified? It becomes sanctified when we offer it first to Lord Shri Krishna. When we offer it first to Lord Shri Krishna, then it becomes sanctified. And even when we consume or when we honor prasadam, we need to also ensure that we are regulated in the consumption of even prasadam. Why? Because if you are regulated, or because overeating will lead to oversleeping, and then that will lead to other side effects, not be able to get up for Mangala Aarti, like that. All those problems which comes up out of non-regulation in our various activities of eating, sleeping, working, and defending. So in this way, Prabhupada talks about regulation in the various activities. Right now, let's see what Prabhupada is also now going to talk about, how sleeping in more than the regular number of hours, or if it does not, one does not sleep adequately, all of them becomes detrimental to the path of bhakti. So let's quickly start reading. Devotees who want to read can raise your hands. Let me quickly share my screen. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. Natyashnatastu yogosti, na chaikantamashnatah, na chati swapnashilasya, jagarto naiva cha Arjuna. So here, Prabhupada is quoting what Lord Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 6.16, wherein Prabhupada is talking about the ill effects of overeating and oversleeping. Yeah, yes. Jayanti Mataji, go ahead. Hare Krishna. Jayanti Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji. First, it was not unmuted, Mataji. Sorry. There is no possibility of once becoming a yogi, O Arjuna. If one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. Bhagavad Gita 6.16. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasa, yukta swap. What is Mataji? Yukta swapannava bodhayasya yoga bhavati.
That means talking about sleeping. Yukta swapna avabodhasya.
Yukta swapna avabodhasya yoga bhavati dukaha. He who is regulating in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Bhagavad Gita 6.17. It is not that we are to starve ourselves. The body must be kept fit for any
practice.
No, where it one, Mataji?
Here.
It is not that we are starve ourselves. The body must be kept fit for any practice. Therefore, eating is required and according to our program. We eat only Krishna Prasada. If you can comfortably eat 10 pounds of food a day, then eat it. But if you try to eat 10 pounds out of greed or awares, you will suffer. So in the practice of Krishna consciousness, all these activities are present, but they are spiritualized. The creation of material existence does not mean entering into the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. I am not void, but spirit soul. If I were void, how would my bodily development take place? Where is this void? If we sow a seed in the ground, it grows into a plant or a large tree. The father injects a seed into the womb of the mother. The body grows like a tree. There is void. In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 14.4, Sri Krishna states, Sarva Yogneshu Kaunteya Martavya Murtaya Sambhavantiha Tasman Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradam Pita. It should be understood that all special species of life, O son of Kunti, are made of possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am a seed-giving father. The seed is originally given by Krishna, placed in the womb of material nature, and thus may living entities are generated. How can one argue against this process? If the seed of existence is void, how has this body developed?
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Haribol. Yeah, so if we cannot say, yesterday also we were discussing this, right? We cannot say that we are void, right? Because dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirasatram muyati, right? We've been growing in this body itself from being a child to becoming youth to becoming old, and then we are dying. That means, what is death? Death means the soul goes into another body, and then again we start from being a child to youth to old age, like that, right? So how can there be development when there is void? If there is no presence of a spiritual consciousness, then it is void. Then it is void means what? It is jada. It is material. Material things cannot grow on its own, right? Only they can deteriorate. For example, if there is a chair, Prabhupada gives example. This chair, this is made by carpenter. It keeps deteriorating with time. But it does not produce byproducts, nor does it increase. It only deteriorates after a particular point in time. It's called depreciation, isn't it? But where there is a living force, then only there is birth, there is growth, there is maintenance, there is byproducts. All that happens only when there is a spiritual aspect to it, which is the Atma, which is the soul, right? Otherwise, Jada, there cannot be any creation out of it. So, if the Supreme Lord has created this entire universe, has created all of these living entities, how can the Supreme Lord be void? So, what is that verse? Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? From me, all of these worlds, material and spiritual worlds have sprung up, right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, all of these creations have emanated from me, right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate. And what do the intelligent people do? Iti matva vajante ma budhavava samnitaha. The intelligent people who know this, they engage in my service with all their heart. So to say that the seed of existence is void is foolishness, right? Because Krishna only tells in Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija pradaha pita, right? I am the seed-giving father. When Krishna is the seed-giving father, and on those creations of the Lord, they themselves produce more byproducts, right? A jiva, right, produces children of its own, isn't it? Now, the creations of ours, right? For example, if we think of creating a robot, the robot can only do work for us. The robot cannot create a machine which will do more work for the robot. That is not possible, because that only works on artificial intelligence, right? That is man-made. But however, the Lord is so powerful. The Lord is able to create a machine that can also produce more machines. For example, the Lord has created a human being. The human being is producing byproducts. The human being is creating children, right? But there is the immediate cause, there is the intermediate cause, and there is the remote cause or the original cause. What is the immediate cause? Immediate cause is our parents, whoever has created us. Intermediate cause is Prakriti, right? Daivi, what is that? Prakriter kriyamani gune karmani sarvachaha ahankaram vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. That means Prakriti is actually doing all of the things that are going on around us. But what do we think? Oh, I am doing this particular action, so I have to get the result of this particular action, right? So the intermediate cause is Prakriti. And who is the remote cause or the ultimate cause? It is Lord Krishna himself, isn't it? Because Prakriti is also the energy of the Lord, and Prakriti also works under the direction of the Lord. So who is the ultimate cause? Krishna is the ultimate cause. Then Prakriti is the intermediate cause, and our parents, right, who are the instruments through which we were delivered, they are the immediate cause. But we are when we satisfy the ultimate cause, then all of the other causes automatically get satisfied. Yeah. So that is what is mentioned here. That when the Supreme Lord has created everything, all of these worlds, all of these living entities, how can the Supreme Personality of Godhead be void? That is extreme foolishness. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning here in this purport. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah. So now Prabhupada is going to involve or create interest in us to go back to the Goloka Vrindavan Dham. right? Natat bhashyate suryo na shashanko na pavakha. That spiritual world has no sun. That spiritual world has no moon, right? The spiritual world is illuminated by my effulgence. Like that, Srila Prabhupada is going to repeat those verses from the Bhagavad Gita, which is going to generate our interest. Right? I don't want to be in this material world. Right? I want to go back to that world where there is no janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Right? So this is what is actual nirvana. Nirvana means one is spiritually liberated. One is situated in one's constitutional position, which is Jivera Swarupahe Krishna Nitya Das. One is situated in the constitutional position of being the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, so let's read this Nirvana. Who'll read? Okay, Nagaveni Ramaya Mataji. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, please go ahead. I'm a little old, so my memory was failing me. Thank you for reminding. Go ahead, Mataji. You need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Nirvana actually means, sorry, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all. Nirvana actually means not accepting another material body. It is not that we attempt to make this body void. Nirvana means making the miserable material conditional body void. That is, that is converting the material body into a spiritual body. This means entering into the kingdom of God, which is described, which is
described in the 15th chapter.
ऊपर चला गया थोड़ा नीचे स्क्रॉल कीजिए. Yeah, which is described as spiritual body. This means entering into the kingdom of God, which is described in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 15.6.
न तद्भासयते
सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. The supreme person, the supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, not by the sun or moon, not by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So there is no void. So there is no void anywhere within the Lord's creation. All the planets in the spiritual sky are self-illuminated. Like the sun, the kingdom of God is everywhere, but the spiritual sky and the planets thereof are all pertain Dhama. Sorry,
are all
Paramdhama or superior abodes. As stated, sunlight. As stated, sunlight, moonlight, or electricity are not required in the Paramdhama. We cannot find such an abode within this universe.
We may travel.
Wait, Mataji. Within this universe, we may travel as far as possible within our spaceships, but we will not find any place where there is no sunlight. The sunlight is so expensive that it pervades the universe. Pardon, Mataji?
Sunlight is so extensive.
Yeah, sorry, extensive. It pervades the universe. Therefore, that abode in which there is no sunlight, moonlight, or electricity is beyond this material sky, beyond this material nature. nature is a spiritual nature. Actually, we know nothing of this material nature. We do not even know how it was originally formed. So how can we know anything about the spiritual nature beyond? We have to learn from Krishna, who lives there. Otherwise, we remain in ignorance.
Hare
In
Krishna.
this,
Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol,
Hare-
thank you so much.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
So in order to know, like for example, if you are going for a holiday, right? Say we're going to Kashmir for a holiday, right? So first and foremost, what do? We will Google and find out the places where we have to visit, and then we'll also check with those people who've been there, right? How we went for a holiday last year or the year before last. How is the weather there? How is the climate there? What are the things we need to take? What are the kind of clothes we need to take? What are the places to visit? That's how we know, right? From a person who's been to that place, we find out what that place is all about, what are the important places to visit there. In this way, we try to understand from a person who's there. Similarly, Prabhupada is explaining here that if we need to know about the spiritual world, we need to understand from a person who's been there, who has the knowledge about the spiritual world, who's heard about the knowledge of the spiritual world, and not we mentally speculate. Agar yahan pa aise hi hai, to wahan pe bhi aise hi hoga. Right? Between cities only, we see that, in some places it's raining so profusely, in some places it's so dry within the same state. Right? How are we to imagine that if the material world is like this, the spiritual world also must be like this? That is pure foolishness, right? That's why Prabhupada is quoting this verse, Na tad bhashyate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakah. There is no electricity. Here we have electricity. There is no electricity in the spiritual world. There is no sun. There is no moon. Why? Because there is no need. There is no need for a sun or a moon or electricity in the spiritual world, because everything is illuminated by the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And yadgatvana nivartante tad dhamma paramama. And that abode is so beautiful, and that abode is so full of potency, that somebody who perfects one's life and goes there need not come back to this material world. Right? So if we mentally speculate, what happens? We will continue to remain in ignorance. Right? However, Prabhupada gives example of how we cannot even see our own hand without sunlight. Right? Without sunlight, can we see the creation of the Lord? We cannot see anything without the sun. Right? So similarly, we'll be able to see and understand, perceive things only by the mercy of the Lord, either through the sunlight, either through the eyes that the Lord has given us, and through the drishti that the Lord provides us, by which we're able to see and understand things of this world. And what is the best way of hearing and understanding the things created by the Lord? We already studied about it. It is by the Shabda Praman. By hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we understand who the Lord is, how we can go back to the abode of the Lord. Right? In Brahma Samhita, we were studying Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhi Rabipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambrahmage Sevyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vadami Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhi Rabipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambrahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami. Right? There is Chintamani Dham. That means everything is everything is made up of nice spiritual gems, right? And Laksha Vriteshu Surabhi Rabipalayantam. There are wish fulfilling trees. Wherever we go, whatever we ask, immediately we will get it. And milk is produced profusely by the cows, right? Lakshabir Suretu Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam. And so many Lakshmis are working continuously to serve for the pleasure of the Lord, right? And to that Govindam, to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adi Purusham, Tamaham Bhajami, of respect for obeisances. In this way, Brahma is describing the spiritual world to engage, to make us get interested to go back to the spiritual world. Otherwise, if we don't study the Vedic literatures, we think this material world is all in all. We will just try to enjoy here, eat, sleep, whatever we can in this world, and we think this is the final thing, right? Just like a frog in the well. Right? There was a frog which got caught in the well, and then there's a frog which came from the ocean and told the frog, "Come, I will take you to the ocean." And the frog is asking, "How much water is there in the ocean? Is it bigger than this well? Is it 2 times bigger than this well? Is it 3 times bigger than this well?" Right? The frog is not able to understand that the ocean is not even comparable to the well. It's infinite times bigger than the well. But the frog in the well is able to only think so much. Is it 1 time, 2 time, 3 times this well? So like that, we have such a short-sighted view of what the spiritual world can be. But when we get the broader perspective, the hearing from bona fide acharyas, then we will develop the laulyam, the greed, to be able to go back to the spiritual dham, where we can eternally serve the Lord. That is the purpose of why all this description of the spiritual world is given here by Prabhupada. Okay, let's move forward. Sridhar Prabhu, go ahead. In this Bhagavad Gita,
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavats.
In this Bhagavad Gita, information of the spiritual kai is given. How can we know anything about that which we cannot reach? Our senses are so imperfect, and how can we attain knowledge? We just have to hear and accept. How will we ever know who our father is unless we accept the word of our mother? Our mother says, here is your father, and we have to accept this. We cannot determine our father by making inquiries here and there, or by attempting to experiment. The knowledge is beyond our means. Similarly, if we want to learn about the spiritual kai, God's kingdom, we have to hear from the mother. We have to believe in order to acquire knowledge. There is no possibility of acquiring this transcendental knowledge by experimenting with our imperfect senses. A cosmic yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as it clearly stated herein, Santim Nirvana Paramam Mat Samtam Saptantam Adi Gachadi. By that, Lord himself can attain real peace and ultimately reach the supreme abode of the Lord. This abode is known as Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavana. In the Brahma Samiti, it is clearly stated that Goloka eva nivasati
Akhilatma Bhuto.
Nivasati Agilatma Bhuto. That the Lord, although residing always in his abode called Goloka, he is all the pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well. But dint of his superior spiritual energies, no one can reach the spiritual kai or enter into the eternal abode of the Lord, Vaikunta, Goloka, Vrindavana, without properly understanding Krishna and his planetary expansion Vishnu. And according to Brahma Samhita, it is necessary to learn from our authorized mother. Vedamata Brahma Samhita states that the Supreme Lord is living not only in his abode, Goloka Vrindavana, but everywhere. Goloka eva nivaste akilatma bhuta. He is like the sun, which is millions of miles away, and yet it's still present within this room. In conclusion, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Dandavat Pranam. So, Goloka Nivasati, that means what? He is staying in Goloka Vrindavandam. Goloka Nivasati, but at the same time, he is Akhilatma Bhuto. That means he is also present in this room. He is present within each one of us. That is the supreme omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? That while he is always situated in Goloka Vrindavandam, he is also present in every atom. He is also present in every jiva. He is also present in every place. That is the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then here, very beautiful analogy Prabhupada is making. What is that? Just like if we want to know who is our father, we have to ask our mother. Our mother is the authority for who is our father. We cannot find out who our father is by independent experimentation. Prabhupada tells in one lecture, if we go on to experiment that, then, we will die, right? By the time we will get another body. By the time we find out who is the father of this particular body. Isn't it? So, the best way to understand that is to ask our mother. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying, the Vedas are our mother. Because the Vedas teach us about our ultimate father, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyo. Vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. The Vedas is the mother, and Krishna says, by the Vedas, I am to be known. Right? If you don't understand Krishna properly after studying all the Vedas, then it is Shrama eva hi kevalam. It is no use. It's only that you whiled away our time studying all of the Vedic scriptures. But if we've not understood the Vedanta Sutra, that means we've not understood the essence of the Vedic scriptures, then it is no use, isn't it? We've just spent our time. That is why it is very, very important that we hear from a bona fide authority who will enable us to understand Krishna as he is by the study of these Vedic texts. And then finally, Prabhupada talks about Shantim Nirvana Paramam Mat Samstam Adhigacchati. The Lord can enable us to attain that eternal abode of the Lord. And this process begins by the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by hearing about the Lord and the Supreme Dharma from the Vedic scriptures. Okay, let's go ahead. In conclusion, who will read? Sindhu Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare. In conclusion, the person who works in Krishna consciousness is a perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activities. Savai manaha Krishna padaravindo indayoho. In the Vedas, we also learn tam eva vidivati mrityum eti. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Thus, perfection of yoga is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery of gymnastic feat to befool innocent people. In this system of yoga, moderation is required. Therefore, it is stated that we should not eat too much or too little, sleep too much or too little, or work too much or too little. All these activities are there because we have to execute the yoga system with this material body. In other words, we have to make the best use of a bad bargain. The material body is a bad bargain in the sense that it is the source of all the miseries. The spirit soul does not experience misery, and the normal condition of the living entity is this healthy spiritual life. Misery and disease occur due to material contamination, disease infection. So in a sense, material existence is a disease condition of the soul. And what is that disease? The answer is not a great mystery. The disease is this body. This body is actually not meant for me. It may be my body, but it's a symptom of my disease condition. In any case, I should identify with this body no more than I should identify with my clothes. In this world, we are all differently dressed. We are dressed as red men, brown men, white men, black men, yellow men, etc. Or as Indians, Americans, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, etc. All these designations are not symptomatic of our actual position, but of our disease condition. The yoga system is meant to cure this disease by connecting us again with the Supreme.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have this wonderful verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grihanati naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. What is that? Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. Right? Just like we threw away old clothes and we accept new clothes. Right? Similarly, the soul throws away old bodies and accepts navani grihanati naro parani. The soul accepts new bodies, right? Nava yauvanam, right? New bodies the soul accepts. According to the desires cultivated, according to the activities performed, the soul will take up a new body, right? When a particular body becomes old, becomes incapable of doing the functions, and what happens? The soul will take another body, right? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजति अंत कलेवरम तम तम एवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद भाव भावितः. Whatever is our state of consciousness at the time of death, at the time of leaving this body, that consciousness we will definitely attain in our next life without fail. This is what Krishna tells Arjuna, isn't it? So how do we develop the Krishna consciousness at the end of the life? Right? It's not that we do whatever we want throughout the life. At the end of my life, I will think of Krishna. Right? But in Kava Vata Pitta is so badly imbalanced at the time of death. We are not even conscious. And it is said that millions of scorpions are biting us at the time of death. And it's a very painful process when the soul leaves the body. At that time, we cannot plan that I will think of Krishna. Right? When we are healthy, when we are properly situated, even now we are not able to control the mind and do what is actually good for us. Right? Sometimes we get swayed by the mind to do all those things that we regret later. Oh, I should not have done that. Right? If that is the state in our healthy condition of life, how can we expect to remember the Lord at the time of death when everything is going wrong, when the Kapha, Vata, Pitta are all imbalanced? So, Vasamsi jirnani ita vihaya navani grihanati naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani samyati namani dehi. So a person should not be bewildered by this process or by this change which is called as death. Just like there is a change from childhood to youth to old age, similarly there is change at the time of death. And a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. That's how Prabhupada translates this verse. Dehi nosmin yata dehi. Right? So we are not worried about the external dress. Right? Prabhupada gives the analogy of how when a person is swimming in the ocean, if a person is drowning, right, we don't try to catch the shirt of the person. We try to lift the person and save his life. Similarly, this body is like the dress, but the actual jiva is the soul, isn't it? So we should not be, like Prabhupada gives example in Bhagavad Gita, like the cage is there, the bird is there. We spend so much time in cleaning the cage that we forget to feed the bird. Right? That is why we are so much bothered about the external, our body. How are we maintaining our body? How are we eating, sleeping? We are so much bothered about that we don't feed the soul. What is the feeding of the soul? Feeding of the soul is by chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is actually feeding the bird. Feeding the soul is like feeding the bird. And if you just simply polish the cage, then the bird inside will die. Then what is the purpose of the cage? Like Prabhupada gives example in Ishopanishad about decorating a dead body. Right? We can maybe decorate the dead body with a lot of ornaments and take that body to the graveyard. Is that? Will anybody say, look at the body and say, wow, looking very beautiful? No, nobody cares. Right? Because the living force is not present. How much ever the body is decorated with wonderful ornaments, nobody is going to even look at it. Right? Similarly, when we are not connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how much ever externally well dressed we appear, it's all useless. It is all useless because the attractiveness is only because of the living force that is present in the body. Right? Nobody is going to get attracted to a dead living matter. So Prabhupada is talking here about how we should not consider ourselves the dress, but rather we should understand that we are a spirit soul. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Cheva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshinaha. A knowledgeable person, a devotee, how does he see everybody? Vidya Vinaya. Vidya means one who is knowledgeable, one who has got transcendental knowledge, will develop Vinaya. Vinaya means humility. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Sampanne means full of transcendental knowledge and humility. Right? How does he see? Brahmane Gavi Hastini. He sees a Brahmana, he sees a Gavi, cow, as equal. He does not see any difference because he knows that each one has taken a different body, but they are all spirit souls. In which the Lord is also present in the form of Paramatma. Shunicheva swapakecha. That means even a dog eater is considered equal to a Brahmana, by a person. By a person who is self-realized, by a person who has transcendental knowledge. Shunicheva swapakecha. Panditaha, a learned person, Samadarshinaha, he has equal vision to all of these different people because he does not see them by their outward covering. Whether he's a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a red man or a white man or a black man or an Indian or an American, does not matter because that is just like the dress. But we are all spirit souls, right? Pandita Samadarshinaha. So a devotee or a sober man will see everybody equally. And that is the vision of a learned person. Okay. So let's go ahead. We are meant to be connected. So Prabhupada is again giving the example of the analogy of a hand. As long as the hand is connected to the body, there is some use of the hand because the hand can serve the body. Whereas if the hand is cut and is lying down on the ground, what is the use? Who's going to maintain that hand? Nobody. Why? Because there is no utility for the hand. Similarly, we are all parts and parcels of the Lord. As long as we are connected to the Lord, by serving the Lord, we have some value. Otherwise, we have no value for ourselves. Okay. Madhvi, Rajput, Mataji. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
We are meant to be connected. Yeah.
We are meant to be connected with the Supreme, just as our hand is meant to be connected to our body. We are part and parcel of Supreme, just as the hand is the part and parcel of the body. When the hand is served from the body, it is valueless. But when it is joined to the body, it is invaluable. Similarly, in this material condition, we are disconnected from God. Actually, the word disconnected is not precise because the connection is always there God is always supplying all our necessities. Since nothing can exist without Krishna, we cannot be disconnected from him. Rather, it is better to say that we have forgotten that we are connected to Krishna. Because of this forgetfulness, we have entered the criminal department of the universe. The government still takes care of its criminal, but they are legally disconnected from the civilian state, or disconnection is a result of our engaging in so many nonsensical activities instead of utilizing our senses in the performance of our Krishna conscious duties. Instead of thinking I am the eternal servant of God or Krishna, we are we are thinking I am the servant of my society, my country, my husband, my wife, my dog, or whatever. This is called forgetfulness. How has this come about? All these misconceptions have arisen due to this body. Because I was born in America, I am thinking that I am an American. Each society teaches its citizens to think in this way. Because I am thinking that I am an American, the American government can tell me, come and fight, give your life for your country. This is all due to the bodily conception. Therefore, an intelligent person should know that he is suffering miseries due to his body, and that he should not act in such a way that he will continue to be imprisoned within a material body birth after birth. According to the Padma Purana, there are 8 lakh 8,40,000 species of 8
8.4 million.
8.4 million species of life, and are all and are all and all are but different forms of contamination, whether one has an American body, an Indian body, a dog's body, a whole body, or whatever. Therefore, first instruction in yoga is I am not this body.
Hare
Attaining
Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare-
Yeah. So what is the first inquiry? The first inquiry is Aham Brahmasmi. Who am I? I am the spirit soul. I am not this dress, right? I am actually the spirit soul. I am not this body. That is the first instruction that we need to understand in spiritual inquiry, right? We don't make inquiry, right? When will I get a good job? When will I get a 3 BHK house? That is not an inquiry, right? Because like we said, Ahara Nidra Bhayam Maitunam Cha Samanyam Ekam Pashubir Samanam, right? What is equal between animals and human beings is how to get better food, how to get better sleep, how to get better shelter, and how to defend myself, right? Now all of these four things can be performed even better by animals, right? As human beings, if you also find out how can I eat better, how can I sleep better, how can I get better a 3 BHK house, and how can I mate better, then we are lowering ourselves into the species of animals. And in that 8.4 million species, we are not even guaranteed another human body. As long as we don't utilize this human body properly, by properly inquiring about the spiritual absolute truth, we run the risk of getting down into lower species of life. And that is the greatest forgetfulness, right? And that is because of the misconception of identifying myself with the body. I am an Indian, I am a Hindu, I am a woman, I am a man, I am a child, whatever it is, right? All of those designations, right? That's why it is said in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam. Upadi means all of the designations. That I am a woman, I am a man, I am a lady, I am a Hindu, I am a Christian, I am a Jew, I am a Sikh, I am a Christian. Does not matter. Right? All of those are bodily designations. I am a soul. I am a spirit soul. I am the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we work in that capacity, when we perform our duties in that capacity, then we have made our first step in the spiritual consciousness. Because we understand who am I. We understand I am not this body. We understand that I am this spirit soul who is a servant of the Supreme Lord. Okay, let's go ahead. Who will read now? Okay, now Kishori Mataji, go ahead. Attaining liberation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Attaining liberation from the contamination of the material.
Attaining liberation from the contamination of the material body is the first reaching of the Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, after Arjuna told Shri Krishna, I shall not fight, the Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Bhagavad Gita 2.11. In other words, Arjuna was thinking on the body platform. He wanted to leave the battlefield because he did not want to fight with his relatives. All his conceptions were within the bodily atmosphere. Therefore, after Arjuna accepted Shri Krishna, his spiritual master, the Lord immediately chastised him just as a master chastises his disciple in order to teach him. Essentially, Shri Krishna told Arjuna, you are talking very wisely, as you know so many things, but actually you are speaking nonsense because you are speaking from the bodily position. Similarly, people throughout the world, throughout the world,
Are posing themselves as highly advanced.
sorry, Mataji, are posing themselves as highly advanced in education, science, philosophy, politics, etc. But their position is on the bodily platform. A vulture may rise very high in the sky, 7 or 8 miles, as it is. Wonderful to see him fly in this way. He also has powerful eyes, for he can spot a carcass from a great distance. Yet, what is the object of all this great qualification? A dead body, rotting carcass. His perfection is just to discover a dead piece of meat and eat it. That's all. Similarly, we may have a very high education, but what is our objective? Sense enjoyment. The enjoyment of this material body. We may rise very high with a spaceship, but what is the purpose? Sense gratification. That's all. This means that all the starving and all these higher education are merely on the animal platform. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very beautiful
Thank you,
example.
Mataji. Hare
Right?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Right? Very beautifully explained by Prabhupada. Right? What can be more, what can be explained in a more interesting way than Prabhupada, right? So very beautifully Prabhupada is explaining here, right? The vulture, right? She flies so high, such great vision, and able to see the prey from a large distance, great distance, very wonderful. But what is the vulture actually wanting to see? The vulture is simply wanting to see where is a dead body that I can simply eat. Right? With all of these powers, this is what the vulture wants to do. Right? What does it want to do? Find out where I can find the prey and eat it. With all its powers, this is what it wants to see and do, isn't it? Similarly, whatever is our high class education, chartered accountancy, medicine, engineering, whatever else we've studied, with all of those knowledge, if you are trying to simply work towards better eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then we are simply being like this vulture, not utilizing it to the highest potential, but rather sticking for something very small. We are simply utilizing all of the knowledge that we've received simply to continue to become better animals. We are not even becoming good human beings. We are not even on the platform of a human being. That's what is the analogy given to Prabhupada. Very beautiful. All right. So anyone else wants to read? We'll end with this person. Anyone else? Okay. Let me continue reading. Anyone wants to read? You can raise your hand, and then we can ask you to read. All right. Okay, Madhvi Mataji, go ahead. Therefore, this is a kind of conclusion of what we've read thus far. Yes, Mataji.
Therefore, we should first of all know that our miserable material condition is due to this body. At the same time, we should know that this body is not permanent. Although I identify with my body, family, society, country, and so many other things, how long will these objects exist? They are not permanent. Asta is a word meaning that they will change to exist. Asan, api, kalesh.
The
body is simply troublesome and impermanent. Many people come to us saying, Swamiji, my position is so troublesome, but as soon as we suggest the medicine, they will not accept it. This means the people want to be manufacture their own medicine. Why do we get to a physician if we want to treat ourselves? People want to accept only what they think is palatable, although we are suggesting that this body is useless and is a form of contamination, and we are not recommending that it be abused. We may use a car to carry us to work, but this does not mean that we should not take care of the car. We should take care of the car for it to carry us to and for, but we should not become too so attached to it that we are polishing it every day. We must utilize this material body in order to execute Krishna consciousness, and to this end we should keep it fit and healthy, but we should not become too attached to it. This is called yukta viragya. The body should not be neglected. We should bathe regularly, eat regularly, sleep regularly in order to keep mind and body healthy. Some people say that the body should be renounced and that we should take some drugs and abandon ourselves to intoxication, but this is not a yoga process. Krishna has given us nice food, fruits, grain, vegetable and milk, and we can prepare hundred and thousands of nice preparation and offer them to the Lord. Our process is to eat Krishna prasada and to satisfy the tongue in that way. But we should not be greedy and eat dozen of samosas, sweet balls and rasgullas. No, we should we should eat and sleep just enough to keep the body fit and no more. It is stated, Mataji, can you read the verse?
युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः.
He who is regular in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Bhagavad Gita 6.17. Although we should minimize our eating and sleeping, we should not attempt this too rapidly at the risk of becoming sick, because people are accused to eating viciously. There are prescription of fasting. We can reduce our sleeping and eating, but we should remain in good health for spiritual purpose. We should not attempt to reduce eating and sleeping too rapidly or artificially. When we advance, we will naturally not feel due to the reduction of these natural bodily processes. In this respect, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami offers a good example. Although a very rich man's son, Raghunatha Das left his home to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was the only son. Raghunatha Das was very beloved by his father, understanding that his understanding
Understanding that his son had gone to
Jagannath Puri to join Lord Chaitanya, the father sent 4 servants with money to attend him. At first, Raghunatha accepted the money, thinking, "Oh, since my father has sent all this money, I will accept it and invite all the sannyasis to feast." After some time, however, the feast came to an end. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired from his secretary, Swarupa Damodar, "Nowadays, I don't receive any invitation from Raghunatha. What has happened?" That is because Raghunatha has stopped accepting his father's money. "Oh, that's very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Raghunatha was thinking, "Although I have renounced everything, I'm still enjoying my father's money. That this is hypocritical." Therefore, he has told the servant to go home and has refused the money. So, how is he living? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired. "Oh, he's standing on the step of Jagannatha temple And when the priest passed him on their way home, they offer him some prasada. In this way, he is satisfied. This is very nice. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commented. Regularly going to the Jagannath temple, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees Raghunatha standing on the steps. After a few days, however, he no longer saw him there. Therefore, the Lord commended to his secretary, I no longer see Raghunatha standing on the temple steps. He has given that up. Sarup Damar explained. He was thinking, oh, I am standing here just like a prostitute waiting for someone to come and give me food. No, I don't like this at all. That is very nice, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. But how is he eating? Every day he's collecting some rejected rice from the kitchen and is eating that. To encourage Raghunatha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day visited him. Raghunatha, the Lord said, I hear that you are eating very palatable food. Why are you not inviting me? Raghunatha did not reply, but the Lord quickly found the place where he kept the rice, and Lord immediately took some and began to eat. Dear Lord, Raghunatha implored, please do not eat this. It is not fit for you. Oh, no. Why do you say it's not fit for me? It's Lord Jagannath Prasad. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu intended this pastime just to discourage Raghunatha for thinking, I am eating this miserable rejected rice. Through the Lord encouragement, Raghunatha reduced his daily quantity of food. He was eating only one pat of butter every other day, and he was also bowing down hundreds of thousands, and constantly chanting the holy name. Son Mataji can.
Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibihi Kalavasani Kritau. This is part of the Shad Goswami Ashtakam. It's saying Sankhya Purvaka. That means he was chanting Sankhya Purvaka, that we count the names of the Lord as we chant. So Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibihi Kalavasani Kritau. So he was bowing down and he was also chanting the holy names. He was counting in the beats like that. Okay, thank you, Madhavi Mataji. Very wonderful reading. We'll ask Leelanandini Mataji to continue and then we'll complete this chapter today. Very wonderful pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, Leelanandini Mataji, go ahead. Leelanandini Mataji, are you there?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead. We'll ask you to complete the chapter. We are reading ecstatic pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami. And Madhavi Mataji reading it very nicely. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Okay. Although this is an excellent example of minimizing all material necessities, we should not try to imitate it. It is not possible for an ordinary man to imitate Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, who was one of the 6 Goswamis, a highly elevated associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Each one of the 6 Goswamis displayed a unique example of how one can advance in Krishna consciousness. But it is not our duty to imitate them. We should just try to follow as far as possible in their footsteps. If we immediately try to become like Raghunatha Dasa Goswami by imitating him, we are sure to fail, and whatever progress we have made will be defeated. Therefore, the Lord says, Bhagavad Gita 6.16, that there is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi if one eats too much or too little. The same moderation applies to sleep. Presently, I may be sleeping 10 hours a day, but if I can keep myself fit by sleeping 5 hours, why sleep 10? As far as the body is concerned, there are 4 demands: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The problem with modern civilization is that it is trying to increase these demands, but they should be decreased instead. Eat what we need and sleep when we need, and our health will be excellent. There is no question of artificial imitation. And what is the result obtained by one who is temperate in his habits? Yada aviniyadam chidam Chittam Atmaneva Vadistade Nishpraha Sarva Kamebhyo Yukta Idi Uchade Tadaha. Then the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires. He is said to be well established in yoga. Bhagavad Gita 6.18. The perfection of yoga means keeping the mind in a state of equilibrium. Materially speaking, this is impossible. After reading a mundane novel once, you will not want to read it again, but you can read the Bhagavad Gita 4 times a day and still not tire of it. You may chant someone's name a half an hour or sing a mundane song 3 or 4 times, but before long, this becomes tiresome. Hare Krishna, however, can be chanted day and night, and one will never tire of it. Therefore, it is only through transcendental vibration that the mind can be kept in a state of equilibrium. When one's mental activities are thus stabilized, one is said to have attained yoga. The perfectional stage of yoga was exhibited by King Ambarisha, who utilized all his senses in the service of Lord, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18 to 20. Sa vai mana Krishna Vindeo Ram Sivaikunda Gunanuvarnane Karo Harer Mandira Marjana Dishu Srudim Zagrai Sat Kadode Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Darsho Tad Bradhaya Gata Sparshe Anga Sangamam Granam Chatat Pada Saroja Saurabe Srimat Tulasaya Rasanam Tad Arpite Pado Hari Kshetra Pada Arpane Shiro Hirishikesha Pada Ravindane Vandane Kamam Chadasya Natu Kama Kamaya Edodam Sloka Jana Shreyaradi. King Ambarisha first of all engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. Then one after another he engages words to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. His hands in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing of the activities of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental forms of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of the devotees, his sense of smell in smelling the scents of lotus flowers offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to the temple of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances to the Lord, and his desires in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. This then is the perfection of yoga, devoid of all material desire. If all our desires are for Krishna, there is no scope for material desire. All material desire is automatically finished. We don't have to try to concentrate artificially. All perfection is there in Krishna consciousness because it is on the spiritual platform. Being on the spiritual platform, this supreme yoga is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Therefore, there are no misgivings or material impediments. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol. So by this, we complete this particular chapter. Very beautiful. Prabhupada is talking about the pastime between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, where Raghunatha Dasa Goswami was inviting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come for a feast, but he was utilizing his father's money. Then later on, as he progressed, he gave up his father's money and he used to sit in the steps of the Jagannath temple and waiting for prasadam. And then he later on thought that this is like a prostitute waiting for some kind of benediction or a blessing from all the people. So he went from there also, and he just used to eat whatever food he was getting from the kitchen. After even the animals used to take this thing. And later on, it is said Raghunatha Dasa Goswami served only on buttermilk, right? But then Prabhupada makes a very important point after that one should not artificially try to renounce, right? One should carefully progress from whichever level one is currently and move towards Yukta Ahara Viharasya Yukta Chesasya Karmashu. Somebody is sleeping 10 hours, we try to reduce it. Like His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu was telling in one class, if you are sleeping at 11 o'clock, then slowly we should reduce 15 minutes, 10:45, then 10:30, 10 o'clock, 9:30, 9 o'clock, like that. And he says 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. is the best time to sleep. And if somebody needs 7 hours of sleep, then we sleep from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Like that. But we should slowly bring ourselves gradually to this condition. We should not immediately jump into a Paramahamsa platform. And in that way, our body also will not be able to take up such a drastic change. So according to according to what we are hearing, according to how we are purifying our consciousness, we should try to improve our sadhana bit by bit, so that things become favorable for us to practice Krishna consciousness, and in this way we perfect our lives. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So let's see who all we have today in our study session. We completed this chapter today, very beautiful chapter, more of pastimes and a lot of learnings from this chapter. So thank you all very much for joining in. We have our Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji, Madhvi Rajput Mataji, very nicely you read Mataji, thank you. Nav Kishori Mataji, we have Sindhu Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, Moshmi Mataji, and all the devotees who joined us today. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. We meet at 5 o'clock for tomorrow morning Brahma Murta chanting, and then we meet again at 12:30. Until 13th, we'll do it at 12:30. After that, we'll meet at 11 o'clock Indian Standard Time for our study of Srila Prabhupada's books. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. Anyone who wants to share anything, ask any questions, any queries, or anyone wants to share your realizations, you may do that now. Otherwise, we can end the session now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Moshe.
Yesterday I was having a fever. So today morning 5 o'clock I couldn't sit for chanting or do arti. So for this I was feeling very sad and that I couldn't do it for it.
Yeah. So yeah, Mataji. So we can make up for the rounds what we could not do. Whatever rounds were pending for the previous day, you can complete those rounds. Plus, you can do your today's rounds. For initiated devotees, we try to ensure that we complete it on the same day. Although the quality may not be good if our rounds are, if you're not well or something, but we can probably sit in a very comfortable position and then complete our rounds. But if you're really unwell, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he says that if you're not able to complete the rounds for any reason, we have to ensure that we complete those many rounds which are pending the next day. And then along with along with that day's rounds, like that you can do. Okay, Mataji?
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, instead of 11, 12:30 is only fine. Because this 11, according to your time, I change our chanting association. In chanting, we do chanting in association. So that is at 11:30.
But we'll see, Mataji, because I'm expecting Bhakti Vaibhav class to start. That will be at 12 o'clock. So, but I want this to continue.
Mataji, it will start immediately?
I don't know. We'll see that, Mataji. I'm not sure. It all depends on how the BVRB.
No, it will break it. We want to.
Okay, fine. So, let's keep it at 11. Let's see, Mataji. Try to adjust a little bit. Chant for a while and then come to us for reading session if possible. Otherwise, you can watch it on YouTube. But especially I want to keep it on all the days so that we quickly reach Bhagavad Gita. Right? This is a preliminary study, what you're doing now. So we complete all of Prabhupada's books, then we go to the preliminary study of Bhagavad Gita, then we go to the graduate study, which is Bhagavatam, then we go to the postgraduate study. So it's a long transcendental journey. So yeah, even we have to we do have to sacrifice a little bit here and there so that we can be in the associated study books. Okay,
Mataji. YouTube
Mataji, when you are going to start, you said 14th of this month or what?
Correct. Sunday onwards, we will keep it on all days at 11 o'clock. 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Srila Gurudev. Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I cannot come at 11 o'clock. I'll see you on YouTube, Mataji.
Okay, fine.
Because 11 o'clock is all my lunch and this and that. So I'll see you on YouTube, Mataji.
Whenever possible, join us. Otherwise, watch it on YouTube. All
Sure,
right?
Mataji.
Okay, otherwise we will put a voting this thing in the group. 10 or 11. 10 o'clock suits all?
No, Mataji,
No,
12
Mataji,
o'clock.
no. Bapre, 11 is also not possible. 10 means, my God, it is not possible.
Okay. Fine. So let's.
Speaking, afternoon was very good time or evening was very
Yeah,
fantastic.
4 to 5 was very good time.
Okay, fine. Let's make 11:30 a.m. Okay. So we'll move half an hour later. We will keep it 11:30 to 12:30. It's lunchtime, and people who are having early lunch and all that, you also adjust. Nilanandani Mataji also can adjust, and then Hema Mataji can also adjust. And our Vijay Lakshmi Priya is Mataji is the adjustment ka swarupa. So she will come morning, night, whatever time she will come. So we are very grateful to Mataji. So okay, 11:30 to 12:30. All right. Sindhu Mataji is given a nice thumbs up. On this note, we will end our session 11:30. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Responsibilities at home means it is difficult, Mataji. If responsibilities, then they can go
All
and
right.
attend.
11:30. For you only, Mataji. Nagavini Mataji, 11:30 a.m. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
You are given me only half an hour in consideration.
Mataji, I have taken away half an hour of consideration for all those devotees who wanted 11 o'clock. For you only. So you have to join every day. And every day you only will start our session now. Nagavini Mataji will be the first reader.
I am very punctual, but my other class ends at what time? I don't know. That is the main reason.
All
And,
right, Mataji. Just see how it works out.